Warning, the Shekalo Podcast is a podcast created by two ex-degenerates that think they know sports gambling and spent their younger days breaking bookies and never hedging. We are not experts on anything, and everything we say should be taken with a grain of salt. We do not condone illegal sports gambling, and all gambling should be done responsibly. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Now enjoy.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Shekalo Podcast, where we try to help you navigate the eternal abyss of the always stressful, mostly toxic, but very entertaining world of sports and sports betting. I'm one of the hosts for this evening, or afternoon, or whenever you're listening to this podcast, Anthony.
K-Mac back here with the Made on Ridgeway Sports Podcast, back here for another spicy week. Let's go.
Oh, man. What a crazy weekend. Hunter Keister back, Made on Ridgeway as well, and I cannot wait to dive into what happened throughout this week. The crazy weekend I had, the 48 hours of absolute madness, and just everything in between for that. So it's going to be a very exciting show. Let's get into it.
Yeah, so exciting that I could just throw away the bracket. Because out of all the Final Four, and even the Final Four revamp that we talked about last week, I have one team correct. But it's also the same team that I think is going to win the whole thing. We'll get into some numbers and talk about that soon. But yeah, I think we have a Final Four that nobody could have predicted except for maybe two teams. And it's kind of crazy. Everybody gets upset. Everybody gets upset. I had Illinois, my revamped one. I had Illinois and UConn going at it. I had UNC, who loses to Alabama, and I had Arizona, who loses to Clemson. Oh
Can
no!
we get a UNC guard to make a shot? Can we get a UNC guard to make a shot, please?
Well, you know what?
Goodness.
Let's
Awful.
freaking talk about it. Let's talk about it a little bit. UNC, 87 points. Your top scorer scores 9 points. 9 points. That's your top scorer. What is going on? Then you got Alabama, Nelson, who hits 24 points, 6 for 9, 12 rebounds. Why? What the hell is going on?
5 blocks as well. He was just all over the place, spraying from three, playing great defense, led that team really well, and nobody on UNC wanted to make a shot all game. They couldn't make a layup. They couldn't make a jump shot. I watched most of that game because I had money on UNC. Absolutely awful.
I mean, even Baycott, or is it Baycott, however the hell you want to pronounce his name, his 12 rebounds
Baycott,
that he had,
yeah,
five defensive and seven offensive. I mean, you got to grab. You can't be grabbing that many offensive rebounds. You can't be missing that many shots, as a team.
Definitely can't expect to win.
Right. They're lucky it was still a 2-point game despite that. That's what was so crazy to me is the fact that they were still missing all these shots and they stayed in the game for most part. Like, they missed a lot compared to Alabama, it seemed like, and UNC still managed to stay in there to the very end and only lose by 2. I feel like they could have lost by a lot more.
And we did talk about Clemson and Arizona a little bit. Bradler, 18 points, 4 for 9. 9 shots from the field. 9 shots from the field. What are you doing, Arizona? And then you got Hunter, 18 points, but he shoots 15 and makes 8 instead of 4. I mean,
Then look at Caleb Love. Caleb Love's supposed to be the star there, and he shoots bricks. He builds a brick house.
Not even the top
scorer. He builds a brick house. He shoots terrible.
I just don't understand it. And then my prediction for Illinois comes in. I think I was the lone wolf there. I think you guys both win Iowa State, and Illinois pulls it out.
Tony, it's funny this, right? So I take Iowa State on the podcast, live betting it 10 minutes for the game, Illinois money line. I had a feeling and took it. I took Illinois money line, live bet it.
But 72-69. Sean goes off for like 29 points, 10 for 19. Okay, that was probably one of the best shooting of the Sweet 16.
Shannon.
Was it Shannon?
Not Sean.
Okay.
Shannon.
Yeah, I got my chicken scratch handwriting is just bad. But 10 for 19, right. And then Jones 26 points, which isn't bad, but 7 for 18. I mean, you can't go less than 50%. I mean, you really can't from the field. And that's your top scorer. Going 50%, less than 50% from the field. It's just you're not going to win games like that. And the same goes for Marquette and NC State. God damn. NC State though, they're playing team basketball from what I've seen. I mean, they even in the Elite 8, they've shown this. But Marquette 58 points. Look at this stat. Ready? Marquette 20 for 60 from the field. 20 for 60. You put up 60 shots and only made 20.
The run that NC State's on is absolutely insane, but this is just what I kind of expected at some point in this tournament. Shaka Smart teams just, and in a weird spot, every year in a weird spot, they fall apart. And you said 20-60. They lose by 9. As a 2 seed, it's just like, that's crazy. That's
and here's
awful.
Why they lose.
It's exactly what we expected at some point.
And here's why they lose by 9. I mean, and only 9 is still a close game. NC State, 26 for 56 as a team. And you got Horn scoring 19 points, 6 for 15. Jones, 20 points, 8 for 18. What are these kids doing? Are they choking? Are they quaking, as you guys would say?
Quaking. Basically, they were quaking. A lot of quaking.
Saw a lot of quaking this past weekend.
And then Gonzaga and Purdue, they go at it. Purdue ends up pulling it out. Edey, 27 points, 10 for 15. My man is going off. Ike, 18 points, 8 for 15. But I will say Gonzaga goes down
Purdue
with
finally proven their.
Go ahead. They're proving they're real, huh?
Oh, I was gonna say, yeah. Purdue just proven that they're a team that actually might can beat, because I think a lot of everybody was like, if Purdue's gonna go down, this is the first spot for them to go down if they're gonna go down easy, and they handle Gonzaga 12-point win. I think it's crazy.
Yeah, and
these are playing really well too.
And with these teams scoring a little high between these two, I mean, Gonzaga had 4 players scoring over 14 points or more, and then Purdue had 4 players scoring over 10 points or more in this game. So you usually don't see contribution like that from the whole entire team. It's usually one person going off,
right,
or not going off and missing a bunch. But let's get down. I think Kurt was on the Houston train by himself for this one. Duke and Houston with a low-scoring game, dude. 54-51.
That's
sounds about right.
That's I can't believe they only scored 50-some points. That's.
You know why, Kurt? Do you know why? Both of these teams were exactly 20 for 49. They shot the same number of shots and made the same number of shots. You want to know the difference? Duke was 6 for 17 for 3 points, and Houston was 2 for 8.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. Because from what I saw over the weekend, everybody lives and dies by the 3. And I can't wait to dive into that in a little bit, but we'll get to that, though. I got quite a bit to say about that.
Do you? Well, go ahead. Let's talk about it. The 3, because we only got one game to kind of go over here.
Okay.
But so, what's your issue with the 3?
So Saturday, Hunter and I went to the casino again. Saw a little glimpse of the first game Saturday, which was the Illinois UConn game, but we watched that Clemson-Alabama game. And kind of similar to the previous game where Alabama backed into a win because their team shot like absolute garbage. Speaking of shooting like garbage, Clemson, the second half of that basketball game was probably the worst shooting performance I've ever seen as far as free throws, three-pointers, everything considered. My goodness. I want to say they were 4 for 11 on free throws, and they probably missed 9 or 10 threes, and they kept shooting them. But every time they take it to the basket and draw a foul, they'd actually score. I I don't understand the tendencies of why it's.
Everybody wanted to jack.
Why is it?
Jack them. Just keep jacking them. That's all they wanted. Just keep
I don't
shooting
get
them.
it. It's like if you're cold, why do you keep shooting? Like you think you're gonna eventually get one, and it just makes up the difference. I don't know, but I know we got a little off track with that one. But to me, Clemson absolutely choked and quaked that second half. They were playing well the first half. I think they actually had the lead. But that second half was just dreadful, and honestly, that game was kind of underwhelming. And I think the spread was like plus 3.5, and they didn't even cover. And Alabama moves on, but to me, I mean, they really didn't even play that good. Clemson just played like crap.
Yeah, after that game, I was like, I think whoever they got to play whoops on them. I just, like you said, they just both didn't look the greatest. Somebody had to win that game, obviously, but I wouldn't have been scared to play either of these teams. And
yeah, no, I mean, you guys are absolutely right. Clemson as a team, 33 for 69, Alabama 29 for 62.
And now, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds about right. That sounds about right.
Clemson, 8 for 26 3-points. So you're absolutely correct there. Alabama, 16 for 36, like you said. Awful.
16
Just
for
chucking
what?
them. 16 for 36.
Oh my gosh.
What were they from the free throw line?
50%.
From the free throw line, 7 for 13 and 8 for 18 was the top two. I mean, that was their. I think that's what I got here. So Spears had 23 points, Gerard had 19. So I don't know, man. It was not a good day for either of those teams.
That was
Nope.
Yeah, and in the Sweet 16, Tennessee and Creighton went at it. Connect, he continues to kind of go off a little bit. He was 26, 8 and 21. And then he was 7 for 8 at the free throw line. And then the reason Tennessee was looking so good is because I liked seeing in college points from the bench. And they had 15 points from the bench. So that's what kind of helped Tennessee get off. I know Hunter really liked Creighton. But I mean, even that Sherringman, whatever his name is, he had 25, 8 for 14, and then but my man was 5 for 5 at the free throw line. So, I mean you don't see that too often, 100% at the free throw line. But the problem that
you really don't.
yeah, the problem that Tennessee runs into when they go against Purdue is Edey. Essentially, they stuck in there. And then when it came down to it, they had a hard time not stopping Edey, but getting through the lane because they just kept double teaming Connect. But still, Connect goes off for 37 points. But the problem is, man, you can't put up this many shots. Like you said, Kurt, Cold, 14 for 31. That was him by himself. The whole
Edey
team was 20.
That was
no, Connect.
Okay.
And the whole team was 24 for 62. 11 and 26 for the 3 points, and 7 of 11 at the free throw line. And even the numbers, like for Edey, between Edey and Connect, I mean, Edey goes off for 40 points. He's 13 for 21. The team went 21 for 33 in free throws. That's how many. I mean, just fouling the shit out of Edey. That's where he got most of his points from, was that free throw line. But the whole Purdue team goes 3 for 15 on the 3 points. It's just them too. I don't know if Purdue can continue to do this and win, even if they get to the finals. Can they beat UConn? UConn, they go for Spencer, 18 points. Newton, 17 points. Castle, 16 points. Bench, 15 points. I mean, the 3 top players are scoring above 15 points in the Sweet 16. And then they go and they just absolutely demolish an Illinois team, 52-77. And they go for 31 and 60. and they got 50 points from the starters. 50 points from the starters, 27 points from the bench.
Man.
When your starters are just banging out, when your starters are just banging out 50 points, Illinois ends up going for
dominant.
Illinois shoots 67 shots and only hit 17.
They had 25 points from the end of the first half until 10 minutes in the second half. They had 20. They sat at 25 points for that long. I watched it live and I was just in shock. UConn has been the most dominant team. I think they easily have to be the favorite to win right now.
Yeah,
go back to back. They've been easily the most dominant.
They're the only team that I have left in my original bracket. The only team that I picked to make it this far, and in the second bracket that we made, like that we continued on from last week. I have UConn. UConn is the only one left, but I've stood on business when it came to UConn. I said that they were going to repeat. Go ahead and check the receipts, audience, from a couple podcasts ago. And don't forget to review that shit and say, yeah, you were right. We'll find out this weekend. And
right,
but I just don't know. But I will say, I think NC State, and we'll talk about it here in a little bit, but NC State to me looks like they may have a chance. They're like almost a complete team. So NC State goes against Duke 28 for 60. That's the only problem is you almost hit 50%. You gotta hit to win these games. You gotta hit more than 50% of your shots. 3 from 13 for the 3 points, 17 for 23 from the free throw line. Burns scores 24, 29 points, something like that. He's 13 for 19, 3 for 4 on his free throws, and then a lot of bench contribution for NC State. And I think that's what I like the most is when you're bench and everybody's contributing. That's how they're gonna end up winning these games, and that's how they have ended up winning these games. Duke, on the other hand,
55 points. Wow. 55 second half points for NC State.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got to watch most of this game on Sunday, and this game was pretty much relatively close for the most part. And then I'm going to say right around that 7-minute mark in the second half, like you could see momentum start to flip over to NC State. Duke started going cold. NC State started converting, and they really took over, and Duke kind of faded. But you got to give NC State all the credit for making as far as they have. They've been slept on. And
Duke was ice cold.
They took down but
nobody can make a shot on Duke. That was like UNC, both Duke and UNC. They just nobody wanted to make a shot for them.
19 for 59 from the field. 19 to 59. 5 for 20 on 3 points.
Wow.
But hey, these guys should have kept going to the basket. 21 for 26 on free throws. McCain hit 11 for 11 of his free throws. And he had 32 points. So,
and that's what I don't understand. It's like
they just want like you said
the threes.
They just want to shoot them, Kurt. They just want to
why shoot the threes if you can take it to the rack? Maybe you get the foul. Maybe you don't. Maybe you get a layup. Maybe you make the free throw.
Everybody
just
wants to shoot them. They'd rather shoot them. They'd rather shoot them.
I just
literally shoot themselves out of games at some points, like Duke probably did. Like you said, they're going down low, getting to the foul line, making their free throws. Instead, they're shooting, chucking up threes, 5 for 20, nothing's getting done. NC State's playing good defense. They've had good defense all year, and it was just like if they could get Duke to miss their shots, they were going to have a great chance to win this game, and they do that exactly. I think if Duke goes to the foul line, goes down low to the paint, I think they could have been a different game, but they don't, and NC State moves on.
It's just such a massive point swing when you shoot like back-to-back threes and you don't make none, and then the other team gets 6 points. It might not seem like a lot, but it adds up over time.
Yep.
So,
I was telling you this the other day. I think I was telling Owen, or I was talking to you, Kurt. I understand now why the NBA goes international players. If you look at some of these top college prospects, how much they actually have to shoot. Come on. The only person you're seeing putting up 32 shots is probably like Russell Westbrook or something like that. And we all know he's a phony. But like these kids, they're not very good coming out of college. And these one and dones, they need to start doing two or three and out. You develop, man. Learn something. Learn how to shoot the ball. Just because you shoot in quantity doesn't mean it's quality. You know, they're not these kids in college now. It doesn't really look like they're going for quality. It's just quantity. Like, look, yeah, no, I averaged 32 points. Well, yeah, you put up 75 shots.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. It kind of seems like I never understood that why they go one and done, but the NBA draft is more or less kind of like they project rather than what they've seen. It's more or less like talent based, I feel like. So no, but I would like to see some players stay maybe another year and develop their game rather than just one and done. See ya.
You wouldn't see so many people not.
It's time for Hunter's Hockey Hits on the Shekel Up Podcast, brought to you by Hunter Keister.
All right, it's time for Hunter's Hockey Hits, where he brings you the hits for your bets when it comes to hockey. Go ahead, Hunter.
Let's get it. We're down to the end of the year in NHL, getting close to the playoffs, and I'm going to go to one of my rivals. They need a win. It's going to be Sunday. What's that? The 7th, April 7th. It's the Detroit Red Wings taking on the Buffalo Sabres. It's the same division matchup. They're 5th and 6th in their division. Detroit needs a win. I think they have a better chance to make the playoffs than Buffalo right now. They're close, but they're fighting for it. I don't know what's going to happen, but in that game, I think Detroit gets the win. I would take the Red Wings on the money line for that bet. And then also, got to talk about some college hockey, as we had the Frozen Four decided over the weekend with some fantastic hockey games getting played.
All right. So I'm not going to toot my own horn here. The only team that I got wrong to make this Final Four was Michigan State. I had Denver. I had Boston U. I had Boston College. But I had Michigan State and not Michigan. So I'm gonna just toot my own horn when it came to that.
Hey, not too savvy with that one. Yeah, just some crazy games. Boston College, the #1 overall seed for a reason, and they flexed their muscle 6-1 on Michigan Tech. Wisconsin and Quinnipiac go to OT with the defending national champion Quinnipiac finding the win in overtime. That was a crazy game. Michigan State 5-4, Western Michigan. That game went to overtime as well. 5-4 Michigan State. And then Michigan beats North Dakota 4-3. A lot of back and forth hockey games. 3 out of 4 games being really, really competitive. Damn near needing overtime for all 3. I think really exciting games to kick off the weekend. And then Saturday, 2 games, still crazy. With Denver, Cornell, 2-1 close game. And then Boston U flexing their muscle over Minnesota, taking out Kurt's pick, 6-3.
Walloped. And I remember you talking to me like Minnesota came out pretty hot, but second and third period, they just kind of got smacked.
Yeah, that would have been. I was watching that before Kurt and I hung out. I was sitting in my car for a little bit, just pregame and watching some of that. And I believe it was like 3-2 at one point, and then Boston University put the clamps on and found the win there. So we'll move to Sunday. And this one gets crazy for me, so I'll tell a little quick story. So Saturday, I'm sitting in the car waiting for Kurt to meet up. My dad calls me. He says, St. Louis is 8 hours away. You want to drive and go to the game? Michigan State. And of course, like no other, I say of course. So 10:30 in the morning, we make the damn near 8-hour drive to St. Louis. It was a sweet, super cool arena just outside of St. Louis, Missouri. It's where the St. Louis Blues, the NHL team, it's their practice facility. It's a rink with three full-size ice arenas on it. And where we went to, it was up a flight of stairs, and it was like on another like platform was the rink. It was just a super cool arena. It was the St. Louis Blues practice facility. And It's like a 2,000 seat venue, but it was super cool. And I buy these tickets the cheapest I can get last minute, and they end up being some of the best seats I've ever had for a hockey game. They were absolutely incredible. And
Nice.
And then we'll get into what happened on Sunday. So Boston College takes on Quinnipiac. The game needs OT. Boston College was down 3-2 with 6 minutes left. We were watching it as we were walking into the Michigan game. They had it on the TV. And then right behind me sat a Boston College fan. So I found out a little bit later on the night that Boston College came back and won because it looked like Quinnipiac was about to beat them. So that doesn't happen. Boston College, 5-4 overtime game. Incredible game there. Some really good stuff happened on Sunday, and I did a whole lot of driving, so missed a lot of it, but it was worth it because we'll get to the last game of the night, the final spot in the Frozen Four from St. Paul, Michigan State, the rivalry. Great to have Michigan State back, younger team, brand new coach, a lot of freshmen, and Michigan looking to make their third straight consecutive appearance to the Frozen Four, and it was a great game, back and forth. And just a really good game until the third period. And Michigan really just flexed their muscle. A lot of the guys came through with experience, a lot of inexperience on Michigan State side. And I think that I saw that firsthand with some costly turnovers. And then just some of the most spectacular plays. One of these passes me and Kurt even talked about, he saw it was behind the back, through the legs to basically ice the game. And that guy's actually the one that's going to Chicago when he finishes up in Michigan. So he holds a special place in my heart, and that was crazy because it literally happened 10 feet in front of me. That's when I saw it perfectly. All the goals were coming toward me in that period. So it was just a crazy game, unreal atmosphere, unreal experience. And
sounds like Hunter's about to cry.
Advances.
I see some tears in his eyes.
I could damn near cry. I wanted to win that game so bad. I sent Kurt a video when we pretty much iced the game, and I was going crazy.
Bananas.
I lost my voice for a good day.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Well, so let's talk about the current teams real quick. All right. So if people are, because people are probably checking it out, listening to this podcast, and going, interesting. So I got some lines here, and as the host, I'm going to make my picks first. I'm going to do this first. Kurt went first last time, but this is my opinion here. From what I've seen and what I've heard, we got Denver and Boston U going at it. Boston U is a -1.5 and a -166 here. Denver is a +130, meaning it's going to be a close game, but I think Boston U pulls this out. I think here now, Michigan and Boston College. Boston College was the favorite to win this whole thing. Michigan is a +1.5. It's goals, not necessarily points, so it's kind of irrelevant. It's kind of like baseball, so you want to look at the money line. +134 for Michigan, -172. Boston College, like you said, obviously had a hard time with whatever the hell that Canadian team college. Quinnipiac. I don't know why I want to say Quebec. Against a young
line, I'll tell you that. This is the first time I heard that line. Tony, when did you get that line? Right before we came on?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I like that line. Oh, yeah, that's good. That's good.
So,
oh, yeah.
With a young Michigan team that doesn't know any better, give me the Wolverines at +134 to go to the finals against Boston U. Since we won't be on the air, or we won't have a podcast until after the whole thing is over, I am going to say that Michigan loses to Boston University.
This doesn't take place until the 13th. They get a week off.
Okay. Well, if that's the case, we'll talk about it then. We'll see what these numbers look like. But right now, I know I was talking about Boston College compared to the numbers, but if you took Boston University at the +550, I think they can pull this one out. I don't know exactly what the numbers are now to win this thing, because finding college hockey on the sportsbook apps is a little, I guess I want to say it's a little
definitely
redundant.
tricky.
It's not up front. It's not up front like how some of the other ones are.
You got to search a little bit for it. That's for sure.
Got deep dive.
Kurt, I want to hear yours next before I give out mine. I want to hear what you think.
So Boston U versus Michigan in the finals, and then if we're doing the podcast before the finals, then we'll talk more about that.
Give out a finals pick. Okay.
Yeah, I had my doubts about Michigan getting this far again. Not to like discredit them, but just man, I can't remember what was that beast they had last year, Hunter. The dude that fucking what was
Adam
it called?
Adam Fantilli.
When you lose a guy like that, it's hard to just hey, we'll just adapt, but should never doubted them. But we'll start off with Denver at Boston University Terriers. But how are there two Bostons? What's the difference with
one's Boston University, one's Boston College?
I was gonna say look at the bottom. University and college. It's weird, but there's a difference. BC and BU.
Okay. Yeah,
the Boston Bruins are so good.
I think Boston University wins, but I don't know if they cover. But I like Boston to win the first game. And then it's like April 11th, 8:30 nighttime. Michigan plus 1.5. I think you got to be on that. I think there's probably maybe a 1.2, maybe 2, but I think a 1.
If you're going spread, I would go less. If Michigan wins this, it's going to be by 1. And Boston College is still the favorite and really good. I just think if they had a hard time struggling with last week's team, I'm not going to try to pronounce that again.
Quinnipiac.
But I don't see them winning by 2. I mean, hey, if you want to put it on it, you probably would make more money on the money line anyway if you think Michigan's going to win this with the plus 134.
Yeah, I got Big Blue advancing.
All right.
Hunter? Well,
give us your hockey expertise.
Yeah.
This is my angle, all right? This is what they're saying. So, BU versus BC is a big rivalry, obviously. They play for a trophy. So, this is the angle. I think I'm going to go Denver with the upset because my angle, I'm going to give it away, but my angle is Denver and Michigan are competing for, I believe it was most championships or something. They're both around the same number of championships. So it was like Michigan and Denver would have matched up for something meaningful. And then it was BU and BC obviously having the rivalry matchup. So I'm going to go Denver with the upset over BU. And then I'm definitely taking Michigan 1.5. I think it's a close game regardless. But definitely sprinkling something on the Wolverines money line. I'm definitely surprised that you guys are leaning that way. But my big bet is Michigan 1.5. I think they at least keep this close. Michigan's goalie proved a lot to me against the Spartans. A really good Spartan team, no matter how young they were. I think they could have competed with any of these teams just like Michigan will. So give me the plus 1.5. But both these games, I think, like I said, I think Tony both you guys should watch these games, and I know I'm gonna be here. I'm gonna be watching them, glued to my seat. Might even fly to St. Paul. Don't tell me.
The other thing is, I mean, you're telling me to watch these games. I'll follow along, but I mean, again, I try to get you to watch baseball, and you can't tell me to watch college hockey when you didn't even want to watch professional baseball.
Don't make the comparison between boring ass baseball and hockey.
Just an FYI, these are going to be on a Thursday night / evening.
Yep.
So I'm gonna go on a limb here, because I don't mean to correct you guys too, but when it comes to a gambling aspect, if you think the Michigan Wolverines are going to win this game, you really need to go money line because one, they're the underdog, but if you do the plus 1.5, it's a minus 156. If you go outright just to win, it's plus 134. So your money's better used on the money line for the kids out there, that want to make money. If you want to be a gloater and say that Michigan's going to win by 6. Go ahead and take the plus 1.5.
What?
I gotta ask you something. Speaking of all this college stuff that we're talking about today, I guess Caitlin Clark gets her revenge. You guys see that?
Dude, I watched every second of that. I meant to bring that up to you to say something about that.
Yeah.
Everybody's talking about it, and I'll just start with this. Women's March Madness, 100% this year better than men's. 100%, without a doubt. There has been so many good teams. There's so many different storylines. Having a national championship rematch in the Elite Eight was crazy. I mean, everybody thought it was honestly pretty crap just bracket, like just the way they did the bracket to have them already facing the Elite Eight, thinking about that being a national championship matchup, and they're facing off in the Elite Eight. Kim Mulkey, the LSU coach, said she wanted it in the Final Four. She thought, if you're trying to grow the sport, put the better matchups and, give them a chance to play for a bigger stage. But nonetheless, I watched every second of that. First game I've ever watched of women's basketball, and I watched 100% of it. It was an incredible game, back and forth. Caitlin Clark is, people are already calling her the best female basketball player of all time. Collegiate, from the collegiate level at least. And
that's accurate.
And they really, I really think that may be accurate, especially just some of the ways she was, because like this white girl, Van Leith from Louisville transfer, she wasn't playing bad defense. They would use one little screen. Caitlin's doing like some crazy dribble move, step back, and just nailing threes from anywhere, from the logo, from deep three. It didn't matter. She was shooting them, and 9 times out of 10 they were going in. She dropped 40 points. It was absolutely insane. I loved that she taunted Angel Reese back. I think Angel Reese gets a little bit too much flack. Yes, she's a smack talker, but I think, she's a winner. She backed it up. I think she owns the right to do some of the stuff that she does. But I also think she owns the right to get it done back to her when she loses, like Caitlin Clark did a little bit. And then you see them hug it out in the line because they both come out and said, how great they think each other is and how they're friends, or they don't hate each other off the court. It's just it's business on the court, and they both play really good, and both those teams were amazing. So they are definitely helping to grow the sport of women's basketball. And then the UConn USC game, this freshman from USC is amazing, and then the UConn girl Paige Buckets, I don't even know her last name, but she's Buckets. She tore her ACL last year, came back. Just like I said, some crazy storylines in women's basketball. Easily, I think easily better than men's this year. So
that's what I've been hearing.
Pretty wild.
A lot of people were saying the women's March Madness has been better overall in comparison to the men's. And
and Caitlin
Clark
drops
when you got the guys shooting 19 for 60.
Yeah, right. She drops 41, right? I think 41 points in that game or something like that.
Yep, 41 it was.
Yeah, she's going to be definitely a great player, and then I guess she's going to make some money if she goes over there with Ice Cube. I don't know how that necessarily works. I don't know if he's doing a women's league in his league, or if it's going to be
the big three
mixed. Yeah, or if it's going to be mixed. Just
why not?
Well, that's fine. But what I need to do is I need everybody to slow down on social media with the Caitlin Clark can play in the NBA. That's the only thing I got to say. I ain't going to go more than that. The only thing I'll reference is like even Serena Williams, one of the greatest tennis players to ever pick up a racket, has even said that most men tennis players could beat her in tennis. And she acknowledges that she's the greatest female tennis player of all time, not the greatest tennis player of all time. So yeah, just relax. Caitlin Clark is good. Hunter, like you said, probably the best female player in the world right now, and probably in history. Like at the moment, history is, as much as it is long ago, it is going to happen forever. History, it's going to keep going. Time is going to keep going. So we don't know who's going to come out in 100 years if these sports still exist. There might be like digital sports, like where people don't even actually play anymore. It's just all one headset, and it's what they would do mentally. I don't know. That'd be kind of crazy, to be honest.
A virtual simulation.
Yeah, but if that, I mean, go get your money, girl. Stay out of the WNBA. The only thing she risked, I was talking to Sarah about this. The only thing that she really risked if she does the Ice Cube League is, will she get shunned by the WNBA? You know what I mean? The corporate part of that. Well, you were talking about maybe a 5-year contract with Ice Cube and making that kind of money. And then the WNBA goes, well, no, you went and got your, like, you're going to start down. Like, Is she going to be able to recoup that money after playing 5 years somewhere else? And depending on what they do with that league, if it's mixed or if it's all female players, I have no idea what his plan would be. It'll be interesting to see, though. I do have to ask you guys before we get into the rest of these futures, not the futures, but we're going to talk about next week with the men's March Madness. You guys watch the opening week of the UFL? No?
No,
I
wanted to. I put it on before I left the one day, and watched like one drive of it, and I thought it was cool. I honestly forgot about it. I would have watched more of it, but
so in the crowd was barely there. Yeah, there was nobody there, right? So here's what they did. You could see like the lower level crowd area, but the lights were completely shut off above the lower area. Like you couldn't see the upper deck because they blacked it out.
Yeah.
So,
hey, smart.
Yeah, no,
I love it.
And it was funny. I was like, because so many people love college football, right? And it's like,
woo,
the UFL can be pretty much college football. I mean, that's all it is.
Whoa.
It's subpar, not pro, not professional players. I mean,
easy.
Tell me I'm wrong. I mean, it's
You're
people
wrong.
talented enough to play football but not play NFL
You're
football.
wrong.
I mean, that's what college is essentially, because only 1% of players in college get drafted. What happens to the other 99%?
It's basically like all the players that didn't make the NFL or just bad run, bad luck.
Well, look at this. If you're on the practice squad making $250,000 a year, and the UFL comes calling and says, "Hey, we'll give you $2 million," are you going to say no?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely not.
Right. So they might be good enough to be put on a practice squad or 54th or 55th man on a team, but it's we'll see. It wasn't too bad. I don't mind it. I don't have a team or anything like that, but it was interesting to watch. They ran. They're at least hitting pretty hard. I didn't see them say no to the hip drop tackle or anything like that. So,
what do you mean you don't got a team? Hold on, you need to get a team. We all need to pick a team. We all need to pick a team and follow throughout the season. That's good content.
Well,
come on,
there is a Philadelphia team, but I think they won the league like last year or the year before or something like that. So I would just be bandwagoning.
Jump on the wagon. Go ahead.
Shit.
Is this the league that Dwayne runs, or was that the other?
It's the K-Mac attack.
All right, it is the K-Mac attack where Kurt is going to bring us some things that make him very angry. We missed it last week, but we have it this week. Go ahead, Kurt.
All right. So I still have this from last week just because this needs to be brought up. So obviously we are all well aware of the college football playoffs are going to be expanding to 12 teams for this upcoming season.
Something like that, yeah.
And this is something I read a few weeks ago, and I don't know if it's confirmed or not, but they are talking about already going to 14/16 teams in the 2025 season. And the reason why that is just, it kind of irritates me is because, one, we hadn't even tried 12 teams. All right, we don't know how that's really going to work. Are you going to have the 4 seeds, the top 4 be have a bye week, home field advantage? I mean, how's that going to work? But if you're talking about 14 or 16, you might as well just have a big college football madness playoff tournament. You might as well just have the whole AP top 20, top 25, because basically what we're doing is we're now going to be making even more games irrelevant and conference championships even more irrelevant. Because if I can get in with 3 losses, why should I even play to win when I can just get in with 2 or 3 losses? And now you're going to see more games where the backups are going to be getting more snaps because teams are going to be conserving their starters for the playoffs.
Yeah. You know what I wouldn't be opposed to? An East and West top 20 teams. So like you go 10-10. That wouldn't be too bad.
Yeah, that'd
See
be
what happens.
interesting how they would do that demographically. But I mean, I was never even a fan of 12 teams. I kind of was like, I thought 6 or 8 would have been cool. 10's pushing it, but as we all know, 4 isn't enough. I mean, there's always a good 5, 6, maybe a good 7 team that's left out. But I think what we're going to see more of is just, I mean, hopefully I'm wrong, but I'm thinking when we get to these playoffs eventually, way down the road, the first couple of games aren't even really going to be that good because you're going to see a top seed versus a low seed, and it's going to be a slaughtering. So
I think it's hoping it's like basketball where maybe they'll get a couple of upsets that make it interesting. The problem is a bad team will get lucky once. Are they going to get lucky twice?
No.
I don't know.
No.
Yeah, no, it's
well.
However, I
don't
hate
know.
it. Does need more teams because I hate that one loss drops you completely out of the running. Like some stupid loss that is not going to matter because let's face it, we watch NFL. Stupid ass losses happen all the time. Good teams lose to bad teams. It just happens.
Oh, every week.
And college teams get punished for that. They get thrown out of the playoffs, and next thing you know, like everybody was up in arms about Florida State. Florida State did deserve to be in the playoffs. They just didn't deserve to be in the top 4. You know what I'm saying? Like I just believe that like it should be more, like 6, 8. I mean,
made it more, not 10, 12, 14, 16 like they're trending up, which is absolutely absurd.
Like
more games,
I would be okay
more
with
money,
10,
but it's
Yep.
Honestly, the top 10 teams, like if you like, it's kind of like okay, if you can at least make the top 10, you get a chance at a championship. Because I think teams in the top 10, any given Saturday at that point. But you get into like 15 and 20. Yeah, 15, 20. No, because that 20th team, I mean, the Toledo Rockets were like 20th at one point. They would have got their asses handed to them by any of the top 5 teams.
No question. I mean, you're talking about even with, like, who was a couple years ago? Central Florida was on that miraculous, magical run for 2 years. But if they would have been in the playoffs, or like Cincinnati when they had a pretty decent team, but like we saw in round 1 against Bama, they got pretty much smacked. It's like you're going to have these, maybe good teams with a great record because of their poor conference or what division or whatever, and they're going to get in and just get shellacked. But obviously that's not what they're hoping for, but it's reality.
If you want some of these college football games to actually matter, start taking some of these bowl games away. I don't need to watch the Bullricks Bowl, okay? I don't need to watch the Selfie Light Bowl. I don't need to watch these things because that's what we're getting at this point. You're watering down bowl games.
Yeah, maybe they're going to take away some of those and make them the playoff games.
Oh, that's probably what they have to do. I mean, you can't do bowl games and then playoffs. I mean, there'll still be playoff games for the probably for like the they'll probably call some of these playoff games bowl games. Like the Sugar Bowl will still be a playoff game, like the Final Four or something will be the Sugar Bowl and the Rose Bowl, and then it'll be the title game. That'll probably still stay the same. And by all rights, if you want, to keep things traditional, you should. But if you're going to move into a playoff system, just get rid of the bowl games altogether. To be honest, I know they're trying to milk money and it's a money thing and it's sponsorships and stuff like that. But at this point, you have the NIL, you have the transfer portal. You're going to start paying these kids a lot more here soon. What's the point of these bowl games anymore? And these sponsorships.
The players don't even play because they're sitting out for maybe the draft or just because they want to. It's just there's nothing really to win, so why even play? I don't know. Unless it's a big bowl, obviously, but like you mentioned with some of the smaller ones, nobody's watching that.
No.
Nobody's watching those.
Whoa. I'm watching those. You best believe it.
You're having a great
Hunter,
time watching second and third stringers?
Hey, listen. Hunter just drove 8 hours.
No.
Hunter just drove 8 hours to watch college hockey.
Yeah, I
know. And
he's a different breed.
I forgot to mention the best St. Louis barbecue you will ever have. It was Salt and Smoke. Not sponsored, just great barbecue. Oh, St. Louis barbecue. Man.
I can't believe you found time to do that with 16 hours of driving.
I know, 1 day, 2 days.
In 1 day, dude. That's wild. Good Lord. Oh, man.
All right, so the Final Four. Out of the Final Four that we had picked last week, I had UConn, Marquette, UNC, and Tennessee. I was wrong on 3 of those. But I still got UConn alive. But we're going to talk about these games here. And NC State versus Purdue. It is a 9.5-point line in favor of Purdue. But the money line is plus 340 for NC State, minus 450 for Purdue. I want to throw these out here. Over on. Yeah. And here's what's crazy. It's going to be a little high scoring. I don't know if we're going to see a 56 to 52 game here. It's 146 is the under over. 146.5. So we're looking at 70 points here for around 75 points for each team for the over under, which isn't too bad, but kind of makes sense because if I'm a betting man, which I am, I'm probably going the over. Because NC State right now,
sure.
this whole tournament, they've been averaging 75.5 points a game, and Purdue's been averaging 84 points a game.
Yeah.
Now for the winner, in my opinion, and you guys can break it down after you hear some of these numbers, I think I got to go Purdue. But my gut is telling me NC State because they are the more complete team. If they can find a way to shut Edey down, Purdue's got nothing. They got absolutely nothing. But the point differential, NC State has been beating their points averaging around 10 points, and then Purdue's been averaging around 21.2 point differential. So I'm going to need your guys' help. Again, my gut's saying NC State because they've just been, when you think that you have them, you don't. I mean, these teams that have one person and one person only, and then the rest of the team is kind of like, they've beaten Duke, Houston. I mean, at what point do we go, okay, this team's real? And I don't mean Houston. I meant Marquette. That's my bad. But what do you guys think? Hunter, Kurt?
Too many points. That's my first look at that line is too many points. I think that to just assume that Purdue's going to win is by double digits is crazy to me. I think that my gut feeling right now is Purdue wins, NC State covers, but I wouldn't be surprised if NC State gets them outright, just because of kind of what you're saying. Like, Purdue is so Edey focused that if NC State does put a nice defensive game plan together and they have a really good coach that they put a magical run together, beating a lot of teams that I don't think anybody thought they would. So the spread didn't really make sense to me. I think it's definitely going to be a close game at the very least. And if NC State can find a good game plan for Edey, I know Edey. I definitely bet on the Edey hater club. All they can do is, shoot hook shots and get to the foul line because they call fouls for him, whatever. But I do think he's turned it on. He's turned it on to another level this year. He's playing better than he has in the past. But so I don't know if I'd take NC State outright for sure, but to assume that Purdue wins it by double digits is crazy unless NC State just has a terrible game. So I definitely probably would lean NC State points, Purdue on the money line. But that's probably a hefty price on the money line if you don't have any points.
Kurt, what are you thinking?
Yeah, man, that line is honestly pretty disrespectful. I feel like in almost every game NC State has been in, they've been the underdog. So to have the line this big is very surprising. They have a lot of confidence in Purdue. And NC State is on a roll, man. And I think they're going to do it. I think they're going to put a game plan together to slow down Edey and try to make other players beat them. At least that's what I would try to do. If you can hold them to maybe 20-ish 25-ish. I think you got a good shot. Definitely think this will be a really close game, though. I don't think NC State will go down easy, so definitely take the points. But I think I'm low with NC State to pull out an upset, man. I'm going to go NC State for the win.
Well, after hearing you guys speak a little bit, I still don't know what the hell to pick. But I feel like NC State is coming into this game with house money. They have nothing to lose. They have no pressure. They have upset 3 teams. Well, maybe were they? I don't remember if they were the favorite or not in Oakland, but they've upset some teams. Well, yeah, they would upset 3 teams because they went out and beat Texas Tech, so at least 3. And it's just one of those things where, like, stubborn teams, and they seem like they're just going to be one of these stubborn teams. And Purdue has all the pressure on them this game because they're the ones that have choked. What, you guys make the running joke that Edey's been at Purdue for what, 6, 7, 8 years now? He's like 35, still playing fucking basketball for them. And all the pressure's on him, and all the pressure's on Purdue to get to these finals and win this thing. Give me NC State. Give me NC State. Plus 340. Outright. I think
mic drop.
I think Purdue just, they got all the pressure on them, and NC State is just going to go out there and ball, and they're the complete team. We talked about it. They're coming out here and they're using their whole team. There's not one person that's scoring 40 points, outscoring their own teammates. I mean, Edey's out here outscoring all his teammates.
I definitely get the
together.
feeling that if Purdue smells blood, they'll front run. Like, if this game gets to anywhere where Purdue's maybe winning by about 8-ish, I think they'll start to take over. But if NC State hangs in there within 5, 6, or 4, down the stretch, I think they'll start to take it into second gear and find a way to win. I think you just can't let NC State hang around. If you let them hang around and they find their groove, that's where you find yourself in trouble. But I think if Purdue puts like a good lead on them, I think they'll find a way to win. But if Purdue lets them hang around, I think they pull it off.
Yeah, but the only thing that I think NC State has to realize is they can't go 3 for 33.
Oh no, they have to shoot
3 for 13. They can't go 3 for 13. Yeah,
at least
you can't
50%.
do that. And when it comes to your free throws, you got to hit more than probably 60% because you're going to send Edey to the line, especially towards the end of the game. They're going to send Edey down the lane, and they're going to try to draw the foul every time. And that's all you got to do.
They're going to need to score more. They're going to need to score more because Purdue will score.
And I think that's just what happened to Tennessee. Tennessee just couldn't hit their shots other than connect.
Yep.
And even he wasn't really hitting his shots. He just shot so many. So you have to hit your shots. So you have to take good shots, and you can't foul Edey. I think, with 3 minutes left in the game, Tennessee got into foul trouble.
Yep.
So, but I think they can do that. I think they've been you have to be a well-coached team to beat Duke and to come out of this as an 11 seed and make it to the Final Four. You have to be a very well-coached team.
Absolutely.
So I'm not worried about the coaching. I think they'll be prepared, and there's no pressure on them. They're like, hey, dude, we made it to the Final Four. We can keep going, and we can build. Even if we lose, we're at a spot right now nobody thought we could be, and we can build on that. Purdue is like, okay, guys, we can't choke again. We can't choke.
This is it.
We can't fall. I don't know if we're gonna have Edey again next season. Maybe he'll come in and maybe he'll become a doctor or a lawyer, and he's doing that 10-year program at Purdue. So
just so we can keep playing.
So all right. So final thoughts. Final pick. I'm going NC State. Hunter, where are you going?
I got to go Purdue on the money line. I'm taking them. I'm taking Purdue.
All right. He's going Edey. Kurt?
NC State.
All
NC
right.
State.
All right. Now let's go to the I don't think this is going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a very one-sided game. I'll give you some numbers here. It's an 11.5 point line right now in favor of UConn. The money line, Alabama, plus 490. For UConn, minus 710.
It's heavy.
Yeah. Yeah, heavy line.
You ain't making nothing with that.
No. The over-under is 161. That is the over-under right now for that game. And I'll say Alabama is actually scoring more points per game right now in this tournament than UConn actually is. 89.7 to UConn's 81 points per game. The point differential for Alabama, they've beaten their teams 13, 11, and then by 2 and by 7. So their point differential is about 8 points per game. UConn, they are beating their opponents 39, 17, 30, 25 for a total of 27-point differential. They are just smoking teams in this tournament. So I have to say, I'm riding with UConn. They're going to the finals, baby. Going to the finals, and they're going to get ready to repeat. I just don't. I don't see Alabama. I don't see Alabama doing nothing.
Yeah, I remember you had mentioned to me before how UConn had just been dominating people, and I wasn't really aware of how bad it was until Saturday. I saw a stat that caught my eye, and it said they had beaten 11 straight opponents by at least 13 plus points. If that's not dominating, I don't know what is. I fully expect UConn to win this game. I would feel pretty confident in them covering that line, as I don't think Alabama's to win this because they, like I said before, I feel like they played good in their own right, but when your past two opponents can't even shoot a little over 30% a game, I don't expect UConn to shoot the ball that bad. I know they'll shoot at least 40, closer, maybe higher 40 percentage, but yeah, this one's a no-brainer. UConn, I mean, what more do you need to see? There's no question in my head they win this game. Alabama, I don't even think they keep it close.
Yeah. Before Hunter goes, I do want to say I think the value here when you're betting this game is probably the point spread, and I think it has a good chance of hitting it when you break it down. I mean, Alabama against a bad Clemson team, 29 for 62. 16 for 36 from the three-point line. That was their last game against a bad Clemson team. And their top two scorers scored 23 and 19. And Sears was 8 for 18. He was 8 for 18. Meanwhile, you have a UConn team that scored, with all their starters scoring 50 points the last game against a very good Illinois team, a 3 seed. And you have one of their players going off for 22 points, 9 for 13, and they're getting 27 points from the bench and 50 points from the rest of the starters, like I said. 31 for 60 as a total. UConn can cover this point spread, and I think, like I said, that's where the value when it comes to gambling is. Hunter, what do you think about this game?
Yeah, I don't like Alabama. I was on Clemson. I think that, like I said, when we talked about that game, I think that just the better of the worst, the better team won, but they're still the worst of any of these teams, and I have no faith in them. They're gonna have to prove a lot to me, and keeping it close with UConn would prove it to me. If they could beat them outright, I think that'd be absolutely insane. But I'm going with UConn, and like you said, I probably would go spread, maybe alternate spread, and take it down a couple points, 7, 8, 9, maybe, just to be a little bit safer, because I think it's up to like 11.5. But I don't blame people for having faith in UConn. They've won teams handedly all the tournament, and they look primed and ready to go back to back. So against the Alabama team that's looked shaky, I don't blame it. I don't blame the line.
I think the crazy stat for UConn is like 11 or 12 games now that they've won by double digits.
Yeah,
in the tournaments,
12 or 11 straight.
Yeah, that's a crazy stat. And with that crazy stat, obviously we won't be back on until next Tuesday. Monday is the finals. UConn going against NC State is what I have. And I don't care if it was against NC State or Purdue. Even if it's Purdue, guys. UConn. UConn is going to win this thing. They've dominated this whole tournament. I don't see why that stops. I don't see why they don't dominate in the finals either. Especially if it's an NC State team. But it will be a good game, I think, because, like I said, NC State is a team. as a team. Like they actually utilize all their players. UConn utilizes most of their players. I just think this is where the magical run for NC State and the magic ends, and they build on this, and they become like the Gonzaga. Remember that year, 10 years ago, when Gonzaga came out of nowhere?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And they were heading to the Final Four and the finals and stuff like that, and then all of a sudden they became a blue collar, prestigious basketball team like they are now. They're always in the tournament. They're always involved now. People are always picking them. NC State will be that next year, and probably the year after. I mean, with how well they've been doing this year, they're going to get some good recruits probably coming in due to this nice little run that they've had. But UConn is going to win this and repeat, which will be the first repeater in 10 years since Villanova or something like that.
Villanova, it was Villanova. Yep, I know it was Villanova.
What do you guys think about these finals? I know, Hunter, you got UConn and Purdue. Kurt, you got UConn and NC State with me.
Yeah. If NC State gets past Purdue, I'd probably just tend to agree with you. I think they'll hang in, but sometimes talent just trumps all. NC State's just an overall all-around good team, but sometimes, in games like this, you do need that guy that can get you 30, and I don't know if they have a guy that can get 30. But upsets can happen, but I don't think an upset happens here. UConn is the top dog for a reason, so I think they go back to back and repeat.
It scares me, but it sounds like we're all consensus. I'm kind of on the same boat as Tony. I think either way, NC State or Purdue, whoever, I think that's going to be a good game. Definitely, I expect to be a better game than UConn Alabama. But, it's speculation that this UConn team got better than the team they had last year that won the national championship. And through the tournament, they've looked that way, winning 12 games, 10 plus. It's just, this team's crazy. They're really well coached. I think Purdue's good. They don't have anybody that screams championship or that can win them a championship. And Zach Edey certainly hasn't proven that to me yet. So if it's Purdue, then, I think it's probably a bit better game. I don't know. And I'm not giving enough credit to NC State, but either way, it's UConn. Repeat.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it a little bit with the point differential. I mean, UConn's lowest margin of winning a game this tournament was 17. I mean, that's
17. That's insane.
Yeah. I will do updated odds here because, we're all scared. But Vegas agrees. UConn minus 185 to win this tournament. Purdue is at a plus 90. Alabama is a plus 1,300. But if you're really on the NC State bandwagon, people, plus 2,000. I mean, it's nothing wrong with dropping $10 and winning 200. There's really not. Go ahead. It won't hurt. I mean, you guys, a lot of people listening to this podcast.
I might put a little 5 on that thing.
Hey.
It's better than having to put 200 to win 100 on UConn.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
It's gonna be exciting. So it'd be real cool.
Go!
All right. Y'all know what that sounder means. That means it's time to make some more money. And we're going to head over to the Ante Up Anthony's Parlay Premier Parlay of the Week is what we're going to do here. And if you guys listen to me, you guys would have saw a really good close game against Arsenal and Man City. Two really good teams, really, really good teams that I was like, I'm not really going to put money on, and they ended up drawing. Nobody scored. It was the first time in 2 seasons that Man City had not scored a goal at home. That never.
Whole game?
Yeah, that never happens. They always score at least 1 goal, and Arsenal was able to hang in there. And it's just good soccer. Okay. I know people are like, oh my God, no goals, but it was the back and forth between it all and seeing how it actually, the strategy when it comes to soccer and stuff like that was pretty cool. So they both get a point and they move up the brackets. Arsenal moves into second with 65 points. Liverpool is stuck at 67 points up there at the top. And Man City is 64 points. This is the first time since 2014, I believe, where all the top three teams are within 3 points of each other this close at this end of the year. So it's actually a very exciting Premier League going on right now. And right now, even though Man City's in third, they're almost a favorite to win the Premier League simply because they have the easier schedule coming down here at the end. Into May and stuff like that when the Premier League ends. So they're not a bad bet if you can catch them. Liverpool and Arsenal, they got the tougher schedules. But let's get over to the parlay. So what we're going to do is we're going to go head over, speaking of Arsenal, and we're going to pick Arsenal at a minus 170. Then we're going to head over to the number one overall team in the Premier League, Liverpool. We're going to get them at a minus 135. And then Chelsea. Chelsea is a whopping minus 270. We're going to head over to the La Liga, grab Real Madrid at a minus 130, and then Barcelona at a minus 120. We're going to wrap that all into a nice little parlay present. It's going to come out to plus 750. Throw a little bit of money on there and win yourself some shekels. What do you guys think about that? You guys like that? You like that? Plus 750?
Not too bad.
We're talking money. You're talking my language.
Yeah. Did I say 7? Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
750.
750. All right. You guys got to get on the soccer bandwagon. You're missing out.
I like soccer. I just don't know. I don't even know when half the time like these teams play, to be honest with you. And with how my work schedule's been, it's like Sundays.
Sunday mornings. Yeah, usually they start at like 9 o'clock and they go until about 2, depending on
and
what
like, is this on
NBC
like local
USA?
TV or is it like okay. Yeah, I mean it'd be cool to explore
Hunter's over there scoffing at me.
Other worlds.
We're gonna have a debate one of these days. What's better, soccer or hockey? I'm gonna put a poll up.
Let's
see what the
go,
people
my
think
God.
To watch,
you guys really
play?
are missing it. To watch at this point. I couldn't play hockey. I can barely ice skate. I know how to ice skate, but I would not be able to like play hockey.
Well, what would you say after being in person for both of them?
I like soccer, but I cared more about the team that I watched more than I did the hockey team that I watched, if that makes sense.
Red Wings and Blue Jackets.
I mean, like I could go into like a Lions versus Browns game would be different than me going to like an Eagles versus the Giants or something like that. You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah,
it's kind of different. But yeah, don't miss out. But if you didn't miss out and you enjoyed this episode of the Shekel Up podcast, please go like and subscribe and share all of our content on all our social media at Shekel Up Podcast. And that would be on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and all that good stuff. Head over to Apple Podcasts and leave us a review. It helps people find the podcast when they're looking for something like us to listen to. And we enjoy reading all the reviews, even if they're bad, because they can be kind of entertaining. And then I can give them the finger and you won't even notice that I do that. You can go ahead and find Kurt and Hunter on everything at Made on Ridgeway Sports Podcast on all of their social media. You can go follow myself on Twitter at AnnieUpAnthony. Go follow Big Hunter at Twitter. On Twitter at Hunter_Keister4. Go follow KMac at KMac_Mac7. And that's Mac, M-A-K, not Big Mac, not M-A-C. But thank you guys for listening. And remember, everyone, do not bet your mortgage.